Hello, welcome to the Common Briefing Program. This is a monthly installment of the Common Geeking Program where we try to review the hottest headlines in geek news to identify the most interesting, impactful stories that geeks should know about and should sort of follow up on. It's pretty helpful if you're a person like us where we don't all share the same interests, but we can all sort of stay up to speed on different things. Because my boys here will not play Halo with me, but they're going to get an earful today. My name is Colin.
Boy.
I tend to host these. And I'm joined by said boys. How you doing?
Hi, I'm Jeff Levitt. I'm doing all right. It is a little chilly here this morning, but I guess not compared to what the fuck you guys must be dealing with in New York.
we're at a balmy 41 degrees as of this moment.
Yeah, we're probably above that, but it's chilly by my standards out here. In the longest of beaches.
How long is the beach?
It's not that long, to be honest.
So
there's a lot of beaches. So
I mean,
I guess if you strung them all together.
Oh, okay. So is it long beaches or is it just beach?
It's a misleading name, it seems.
Yeah.
Sounds to me.
All right. This bit is going nowhere. Who else is talking?
I mean, it's long compared to some things, like a caterpillar or a bus.
What kind of rulers do you have?
But Long Beach implies that it's long by beach standards, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean,
Caterpillar in a beach?
There's probably bigger beaches, but those bigger beaches probably also are wider. I don't know. So...
Wait, is the length of the beach... Hold on. Is the length of the beach from the shoreline to the mainland, or is it from where one side of the beach ends across the shoreline, like following the shoreline to the other end?
Oh, I would have assumed the length was measured
that's what I thought.
along the shoreline, not...
Then what the fuck is the width? How do you... What? I thought that...
I guess the depth? The first thing you said.
The depth of the beach would be like how deep the beach goes into the ground.
So that means that the width is the like size of the...
I guess
right?
that makes sense from how we measure most things, where length is a greater distance than width in most cases. But I mean, we look at the beach like from the mainland, so it seems backwards.
Yeah.
I don't know. My brain's having a hard time.
There's
Who
just
else
some
is
things. There's some things that feel like they don't have a width at all. Like, not that they don't have a third dimension, but they don't have something that feels right to call it the width.
Yeah, that doesn't match our heuristics for the wideness of boy.
Right.
Once again, who else is talking? I promise he's going to get an introduction.
Hi,
I'll make it happen.
I'm Tamil Chaudhary, or Chatter, whichever you prefer.
Hi, I'm Length or Width, whichever you prefer. So, Jeff, is it 8:30 for you right now?
Yeah.
Would you have been up already, or are you waking up for this purpose?
Oh, motherfucker. Yes, I would have been up already. God
Okay.
fucking willing, I could fucking sleep until 8:30, never as my body allowed. I fucking wake up at like 6:30 at the latest.
That is a terrible curse.
Yeah.
I wish I could do something to ease your lifelong burden, but alas,
it's always been that way. It's like it must be a light thing, because I remember one time at Rochester, it was like I had been out really late the night before, which usually does not make me able to like sleep in much later, but it was like storming that day, so it was just like super dark all day, and I woke up at like 5 p.m. and I was so fucking confused. Yeah. I was like looking around and I was like, what? It was
the first time you ever opened your eyes after noon.
Right. Yeah, it was just like, or it was like something ridiculous like that, or like, I woke up at like maybe like 4 p.m., but I had gone to sleep at like 4 a.m., so I was like, what do you mean it's 4? I've only been asleep like a minute? What the fuck are you talking about? And then I was like, oh, it's the other 4. That's wild.
Have you ever fucked around with like blackout curtains or anything?
Not to any real extent. No, it's just kind of a hassle. But
that's true.
Usually it doesn't matter. Like I don't in most cases I don't mind, waking up early, especially since I go to sleep kind of early now. But back in the college days, it presented some kinds of problems sometimes.
Yeah. No, it's funny how now we like all complain about, oh, we don't get enough sleep or we sleep at the weird times. And like, I remember, I just remember how in high school I did some ridiculous bullshit that I know I can't do now, like stay up pulling all-nighter.
Yep.
Or fucking, we fucking went to high school at like what? Like goddamn like 7 a.m.? I don't even fucking remember.
Oh yeah. I had to be like at my bus stop before 7.
Yeah, we had to wake up before 7 because, you gotta get ready and stuff.
Right. And then sometimes I would like do stuff after school. Like fucking when we were doing like for Weigel's class when we were doing the 30-day challenge, I made a fucking sculpture every day for a month and then went out and walked around and took a picture of it somewhere. I can barely get myself to do the fucking dishes after work to now.
Exactly. Dude, I'm going through I'm going to talk about Halo Infinite a lot, but like I remember in 11th grade, I would get to school early to do stuff and then stay super late till like 5:30 or something because we were doing play rehearsals, like very physically active play rehearsals.
Right, yeah.
And then Halo Reach came out. So I would just not sleep, do all that, go home and play more games and go to bed late. And it's like, I felt bad, but if I do anything like that now, I don't just feel bad. I also feel like sad. Like it puts me, I feel really, really like I don't like myself. I don't like how I feel. I'm just like, life could be a lot better than it is right now.
Yeah. Like my mind is out of whack.
It was like a fun bad in high school.
Yeah. It's sad bad now.
Yeah. Like my mind would be out of whack if I tried to do something like that now. And if I like lose on sleep, my body will like cash in the sleep debt at some point.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been having that problem. I got a new Apple Watch recently that has a longer battery, so I've been keeping it on overnight to check my sleep, which is just, fun data. But the alarm goes off on my watch, and Sleepy Colin is very good at stopping the watch alarm from going off. So I've overslept for work, I think 3 times in the past week because Sleepy Colin does not want to be awake. And I don't remember doing it. Wow. It just happens. I also fell asleep with my AirPods in last night, and I woke up and they were in the case. So someone explain that to me.
I think Eddie told me a story one time, in high school about like how he apparently he like put his alarm on the other side of the room so that he would force himself to actually get up when it went off, and he like in his sleep got up out of his bed, walked across the room, turned it off, and went back to bed and still overslept.
Yep.
Well, for griping about stuff, there's also the fact that like the place where my shoulder meets my neck kind of aches a little, and it's like, why?
Yep.
Why?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot more exercise this year, and guys, it turns out if you build muscle and then stretch those muscles, your body hurts less most of the time.
Fucking wild. Exercise actually works. That's the thing that pisses me off the most. Like, exercise works. Like, it helps with your health, your depression, your everything, and it works, and it pisses me off.
I had years of lower back pain. I started working out a lot in February, and my back pain was gone in March.
Damn.
My heart, like, I thought I was having a cardiac episode, and they were like, no, this is what happens to people who are in shape. And I'm like, can I get the doctor to write down that they said I'm in shape? Because this is insane. I also owe them $450 now because I'm in good shape, so that's fun.
What a wild stretch it is from the motherfucker who used to have, like, 3 bottles of Mountain Dew every single day.
Yeah, I mean, I started drinking soda again recently, but it turns out when you go without something for 8 years, you're just kind of like, I don't need it. I'm fine.
Yeah, I dropped soda a long time ago because I like soda all right, but I'm just like, I don't like it enough to be worth how, like, absolutely ridiculously unhealthy it is. I've got many other unhealthy addictions that I really would like to keep with more.
No, soda should always just be like something you drink on special occasions, but like, recently I've kind of relapsed on it, so like, I kind of want to unlearn soft drinks again.
It's and here's the thing, like, there's some that, like, Mountain Dew does not really fuck me up. Like, Sprite, light sodas don't fuck me up. Root beer, I love root beer, but if I down a root beer, it's kind of like, the staying up late thing we just talked about. Like, I feel a weird new kind of adult bad that I just didn't experience before, and I don't get it. But Apparently,
Yeah.
yes. Trying to take care of your body is a big component to your body being taken care of. Crazy how that creates works. All right, so we're gonna jump right into the news. I am going to be kicking off this munch. This munch. Oh my god, that can tell you where my head is right now in the middle of the day. I am going to be kicking off this month's discussion. I really only have two big things I want to talk about. There, Star Trek Discovery Season 4 premiered. It's fun. Prodigy's on a hiatus while Discovery goes. Also fun. The usual stuff. I like them. But two things I want to talk about. First one I want to talk about, just because I want to get your opinions on it. I don't know if we're going to do a full episode on it, but I want to talk about Marvel's Eternals. We talk a lot about the MCU, as mentioned in previous episodes, just because it's one of the few things that we all sort of follow to some extent. So Eternals is the most recent Marvel film as of this recording. Spider-Man's coming out shortly, but it was directed by Chloe Zhao of Nomadland fame. And so there was a lot of hype for this was going to be a different Marvel movie. This was going to be breaking the mold. They shot in real locations and didn't just use background plates on green screen performances. So a lot of interesting conversation around this movie. And then the reviews started rolling in. And the reviews are worse than what is typically regarded as the worst MCU film. Which is Thor: The Dark World. For example, on Rotten Tomatoes.
Hold on, they're reviewing it worse than Thor: Dark World? Hold the fuck
significantly. Up. If we're just going by Rotten Tomatoes, for example, and the Metacritic and user, the Metacritic reviews aggregation does sort of skew in the same direction. But yeah, put that in perspective. A lot of people are looking at the reviews for Marvel's Eternals. Thor got a 65, certified fresh, and Marvel's Eternals has a 49, also lower than Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
Bullshit!
What the fuck?
Bullshit!
This movie has been absolutely thrashed.
This is my evidence that Metacritic is full of shit.
Metacritic, there's not much you can say about Metacritic because they are literally just aggregating. Rotten Tomatoes is not aggregating.
I didn't mean Metacritic.
Yeah,
we're talking about Rotten Tomatoes. Same thing. My opinions still hold the same.
Yeah, it's a little bit wild.
It's a little bit wild in comparison to Star Wars, but I feel like it's almost not fair at this point to compare it to Thor: The Dark World, because I feel like since that one came out relatively early in the Marvel run, it was probably viewed a little bit more favorably, whereas we're probably getting to the point where at least, some critics are probably getting sick of Marvel, so, they might have had a higher stand. I don't know. There's ways that I could see why that would shake out that way.
I would like to posit some theories for why this is getting the thrashing it is, because Thor: The Dark World, while
I haven't seen it yet, so I still don't know the...
Yeah, so quick impressions on the film. I liked it a lot. It had some clunky bits. I think that by and large the script itself is good, but the dialogue had some stuff I didn't love. I don't think it focused on certain individual characters great, but what it nailed was the found family aspect. I believed these characters as a group ensemble as much as I did the Avengers when the first Avengers movie came out. And I really thought that it did a great job. It had a different tone, a different feel. It was somewhere in between the thoughtfulness of Nomadland and the actionness of Marvel. I don't think Chloe Zhao handled the action as well as some other directors, but I think she handled the character stuff pretty well. On balance, I liked it a lot.
It probably wouldn't have been Chloe Zhao who handled the action. With Marvel movies, action sequences are done differently from everything else, or done by different.
You've got VFX supervisors, you've got stunt coordinators, you've got second unit directors. So you have a whole army of people assisting with that. So it's not like she was just let her go fuck it up. No, but I will say that the action scenes, with the exception of the climax, I don't think meshed with the rest of the movie particularly
oftentimes, especially in big blockbuster films, action is often done by a completely different, with little input from main director.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
you get a second unit director for a lot of those scenes.
And on some extent it makes sense, right? Because directing action sequences can require a different set of skills than directing acting sequences.
Yeah. So I guess the case I want to make here is I believe that the movie is polarizing reviewers because user reviews are pretty good on the movie. Don't pay attention to social media because like a ton of fake accounts immediately started spamming positive things all over the place on Twitter and Instagram. But if you just look at user reviews on other platforms, it's fine. It's like in like the 70, 80, 90 sort of range in that window where, you know, decent movies often land. I like it a bit more than that, but I think what's happening with reviewers is, and this is going to sound like a very simple statement, but I can elaborate. I feel as though a lot of reviewers feel bad that Chloe Zhao sold out. That is the vibe that these reviews often have. There are some that I think do a good job of criticizing how the movie handles its characters because there are so many of them. But a lot of reviews are saying, like, at the end of the day, it doesn't feel like a Chloe Zhao movie and it doesn't feel like a Marvel movie. It feels like something else and I didn't get what I wanted. That is a very common refrain because Nomadland, for those who don't know, was the most recent film she did. Won her the Oscar for Best Director. It's a film about after a processing plant in, I think, Nevada shut down, like a ton of people were left homeless, and it follows basically a transient woman living in her van. And it's like, it's contemplative, it's slow, but it's also like, I found it really, really gripping. Like the 2 hours of that movie flew by for me. So I was like, how is she going to bring this to Marvel? And what we get is something in the middle of that.
It's like a movie at war with itself, I think, because like it's half of it like this art house film and half like a big blockbuster film, and it's like at war with itself. But ultimately, I think overall it's pretty good, and I did enjoy it. And I know my sister really enjoyed the movie. Like, she watched it after I did. When she and my cousin walked out of the theater, she just, like, was really excited and, like, really liked it. So.
And I believe that this idea of a movie at war with itself is becoming a more and more common sensation or phenomenon in the Marvel movies as they try to bring in new directors and explore new things.
Yeah.
And it's a symptom of the fact that they are branching out. We've had this conversation with Black Widow, with Shang-Chi. We're having it now with Eternals, but this is the one getting thrashed.
I think we said something similar about Ant-Man.
Well, that Ant-Man had a unique problem of switching directors.
Yeah.
So that was sort of its own thing, but we are seeing that same exact effect just because we are moving in new directions. And this is the second movie in a row directed by an Asian person for Marvel, the second movie this year directed by a woman. So it's hard to even say like this is based on any sort of like group identity thing, but rather I think people look at Chloe Zhao as the golden child that sold out to Marvel and made an action movie. And it's like, if you work for Marvel, you're gonna make an action movie. And I read reviews in Entertainment Weekly, Polygon, Vulture, a lot of other sites, and really the most common thing was just it wasn't either of the things, and so it left them dissatisfied. And I just don't feel like I saw a lot of people taking it on its own terms, because on its own terms, it has problems that should be discussed on their own. And that's
right.
I don't know. So I'd be curious to have a longer conversation about it, but that has been an interesting thing for me to follow is Eternals.
Nice.
My big story, Halo Infinite.
Oh boy.
Done fucking pulled one over on all of us because Halo Infinite's release date is December 8th. Halo Infinite is coming about 20 years after the original Halo, which not launched, I believe it was November 11th,
Wait, is this
2001.
Than the other Halo game that just came out? Didn't a Halo game just come out?
So this is what I'm getting at. So we're coming up on November 11th. They have a 20th anniversary event for Xbox. And about 3 days beforehand, a lot of journalists in the space, Polygon, Kotaku, Verge, Forbes, all these folks are like, Halo Infinite might release on Monday instead of, in a month when it's out. And we're like, excuse me, what the fuck? Little context. Halo Infinite. Halo has always been two experiences, primarily a competitive multiplayer experience and a single-player cooperative campaign experience that has a narrative. And this game has clearly separated them. You can play the multiplayer for free. They announced that a long time ago. But the campaign will be priced at a $60 premium. Cool. They want as many people playing the game as possible. Sure, fine. But then the rumors start flying that it's coming out, and I was a heavy skeptic. And on Monday, I'm sitting down, and they say, Halo Infinite comes out today. You can play
Surprise.
it today. Go download it now. It's here. We released it early on the 20th anniversary. So it's just the multiplayer, not the campaign.
That's kind of obnoxious, not gonna lie.
It was obnoxious for me because actually I have time off for the entire week that Halo Infinite comes out.
Wow.
And then they dropped it while I don't have time off set.
Well,
so kind of
like,
annoying on that front.
I mean, I guess I see what they're trying to do, but it's sort of like, I don't know, it's using people's ability to kind of plan for this thing that they're excited about as a gimmick, and that feels like, why? Like, no,
on
we're
the
not
other
gonna start
hand, though,
doing that, right? Like,
so a little more context. The game has been delayed multiple times. What I suspect is that we saw... I just got a notification for Chipotle having some sort of Halo Infinite promotion. I'm going to have to look at that.
sounds right up your alley.
The game got delayed multiple times. I suspect, because they said they wanted to release in fall, that originally the intent was to release on or before the 11th, and it didn't happen. So because the two separate parts of the game are handled separately to some degree, they were like, let's lock this date in, but let's see if we can push for this surprise. And they did. And just like all the flights, this game is fucking incredible. It is just one of the most ridiculously polished shooters you will ever play. It feels balanced. It feels thoughtful. All the maps are good. It is easy to learn them. It has so many training options. It feels tight on every platform. You can play on PC, on Xbox, on your phone. And it's just a really solid package. And everybody has been saying exactly that, except for one thing that is driving people insane. Free-to-play games need to make money somehow.
Oh, no.
They do that through microtransactions and battle passes. The microtransactions, people are kind of like a little annoyed by because they're expensive and there are some restrictions to how they can apply to your character in the game. By and large, the consensus is they're not worth it. I've seen a few people, I've seen them out in the wild. People are buying them, but
People always
the
buy
bigger
them.
problem is actually the battle pass. So the battle pass is a thing in modern gaming with free-to-play games where basically for a set few months, you have a season, you pay for the battle pass. If you don't pay for it, you can level up your character with experience through the season and then earn unlocks. And if you pay more, you get more unlocks, more customization. And so with Halo Infinite, they announced their battle pass, and a while ago they said you don't gain experience from playing games, you gain experience from completing challenges. And people started crunching the numbers on what you have to do to complete these challenges and how long games typically take, because we knew that from the multiplayer previews, and also just how many challenges you can get. And people were saying, hey guys, this looks like it's going to be pretty slow and grindy. And 343 was like, we hear you, but let's try it out. Instantly, everybody freaking out. People getting 7,000 upvotes on a Reddit post that says Halo Infinite is a new industry low, even though it's being hailed as one of the best shooters ever made. This is souring the experience for a lot of people.
Oh no!
I feel like the industry has gone lower. Like, I think we're going to be talking about some of those lower points. So.
Exactly, and it's kind of hard to agree with that point when they have actually already updated the XP system 2 times since the launch in just 2 weeks. A free-to-play game that launched early and is just supporting multiple platforms to a ridiculous degree. Even the amount of PC settings on it is pretty insane.
Yeah.
They have demonstrated a lot of goodwill by giving away free stuff and upping the things that they can up in the meantime, promising systemic changes down the road. But it has really been a tale of two Halos, where we have this game that, and I've been playing a lot of it. It is, I can't praise it enough. It is an excellent multiplayer shooter. If you like multiplayer shooters, this is a very good game. It's not a battle royale. It is an arena shooter. So it's just like 8 people in a small map and you just gotta win. It's not like you're on a gigantic sprawling adventure Skyrim-sized map trying to make your way to a certain point. So it's very tense. Some people worry that it will keep casual gamers out, but again, it has options to go run weapon drills and like play and test out and try to get new scores. So the multiplayer portion of this is fantastic. It did feel like a pretty bad grind. The other problem with this challenge system for leveling up and not getting experience for playing games or how well you play, there are no rewards for if you win or lose or if you carry a team. The challenges are like, in a capture the flag match, kill 3 people stealing your flag. That presents a couple of problems. One, they don't give you the ability to choose capture the flag, so you just have to cycle through matches hoping you are randomly granted a capture the flag match.
Love that.
2, it's incentivizing you to allow people to steal your flag. It is incentivizing you to not play the objective of the game. There are similar challenges that say get kills with these weapons that you don't get from the start, weapons that you have to go find and use, which means you have to use those weapons and be good with them. And I think that's interesting. Challenge you to change it up a bit. But you might get a map where that weapon is not available, or you might get a map where other people have the same challenge and they want to get it, or you get a game where the point isn't to kill people at all. It's to, like, move around. And then you're going to lose the game for other people because you're trying to get this challenge. So by and large, it's not just the microtransactions. It's not just what you can get from the battle pass. It's also the entire rank up system is frustrating people. They just pushed out a fix yesterday as of this recording. Feels a lot better. I ranked up several times in a day because they grant a lot more XP just for playing games. And then they give you challenges that are a little more broad, not like kill people that steal your flag, but just win a capture the flag match. You still run into problems because of the playlist selections. It's like, if you're going to give us challenges, you need to give us the tools to complete them on our terms. Otherwise, it's not a game, it's a chore. And that's where Destiny has made some mistakes in the past. So there are going to be systemic changes. I'm eager to see what they are. They have extended the first season of this game all the way until May. So I have a feeling they looked on the back end and said, we're going to overhaul this and it's going to take some time. But they are being very transparent. They are being very quick to resolve these issues. And here's the thing, people are still playing it a fucking lot. So, amazing game, big problems. I'm going to keep playing it. But that's the state of Halo Infinite free-to-play. When the campaign drops in a few days, I will be talking about that too. But they fucking surprised us with a AAA shooter out of fucking nowhere. The sales of Call of Duty and Battlefield have been really lackluster, and a lot of people are like, oh, maybe they just moved it up because people like Halo Infinite so much, they can fucking tank their 2 biggest competitors with a surprise release. And it's working. It's working really well. But it's an interesting thing. I don't want to take too much more time, so I'll kick it on over to you folks.
I don't have a lot to talk about this month. First off the bat, the second part of the Netflix Masters of the Universe Revelation show came out. The more like adult fan one led by Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith? Yeah. You had some mixed feelings on the end of the first half, but you wanted to reserve judgment. How's the second half treating you?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the specific things I was concerned about at the end of the first half, I think it does pretty much like flip things in a way that, you know, makes me feel good about some of those things.
Yeah.
Somewhat, I don't know. It's good. It is good. I'll say that. I would say I feel about the same about it as I did with the first half, in that, like, it was generally good. Had some issues, had some things that weren't like quite as smooth as they could have been, but generally positive on it. It does a number of things that definitely feel like sort of like tonal flip-flops, I would say, in that, like, a lot of things that, like, angry, like, fucking, vitriolic man children were mad about in the first one, it sort of does, like, flip a lot of those things. So, like, I'm seeing a lot of posts being like, oh, Kevin Smith redeemed himself. And it's just like, shut up. Like, the story wasn't written out well before the first one even aired. Like, so I'm sort of curious as to what the decision-making process was for some of those things, but
also, motherfucker redeem himself from what? He, as far as I can tell, he's beloved by buffs, so, like, why does he care about
I know, but people were really angry.
Yeah, I know,
like,
I'm
saying all the people who were really upset with the first half being like, oh,
he redeemed
I liked
himself
Kevin Smith,
in my
but now
eyes
he's
only.
pushing all this woke pandering.
Tila's still the most important character, so I don't know what they feel about that, but all right.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, it could be a whole discussion for another day.
Yeah.
But it does, yeah, I don't know. It does do a little bit of like sort of weird backtracking of from the first one. It almost feels reactionary, even though obviously it wasn't.
Yeah, it couldn't have been.
Also, I would like to apologize to Colin if what I just said seemed like all over the place in volume, because I was moving around when I said that. Also, fuck you, Colin, because I hate you.
Why?
I mean, I don't disagree, but you know. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. It could be fun to talk about another time. Maybe a few regular geeking programs down the road if we're, you know, short on things to talk about.
Yeah,
because I know we have a few other things in our list. But yeah, overall, I think it was good. Not amazing, but you know, generally well made and well acted and well animated, etc. So that was one thing. That's really just, there's no real story there. It was just you know, reacting about that coming out. We got a new Spider-Man trailer, which recontextualizes some things that we had speculated about probably last episode. I can't remember. Where before we were saying like, oh, are these characters literally from the other film universes, or are they just like representations of similar characters from, you know, because like all those characters died, right? But they're showing up as villains in this one.
Are at least on good terms with Spider-Man. Like Doc Ock
right,
ended the movie while also dead. Also, like, on good terms with Spider-Man. He's dead and on good terms with Spider-Man. Yeah. Why would he be a bad guy?
And so this new trailer recontextualizes that conversation in a few interesting ways, in that it's said in the trailer that, like, these are all people who died while fighting Spider-Man. So it's a little bit unclear if they're literally them or, like...
the ghost of Spider-Man's past.
Yeah. So it's like that kind of, in my mind...
Yeah, we see Doc Ock, Goblin, Sandman, Electro, and Lizard.
That, in my mind, kind of opens the door for them literally being the ones from that universe. If it weren't for... we get a better look at Jamie Foxx's Electro
very
in this
different
trailer,
looking.
And he's not blue. Like, he looks...
Don't you know I'm Electro?
That is my favorite movie line maybe ever.
Yeah, but, you know, that changes that. You know, that adds another wrinkle to, you know, that speculation, because he's not, like, I guess you know, he could have, like, physically changed in between then and now or whatever, but he's pretty much just, like, wearing a costume and has his normal, like, skin, not blue and glowy. And then what I did like in the trailer is they had a thing where, like, and when he was shooting lightning, like, some streaks of lightning appeared on his face that were, like, sort of in the shape of the stupid, like, cartoon Electro mask that is just, like, 5 lightning bolts shooting out of his eyes. I thought that was a cute touch. Like, it worked pretty well. But
even the Lizard, because the Lizard's visible in there, too. Like, Electro's the only one that looks different. Goblin looks the same. Sandman, I mean, he's
everyone else
can't.
Looks...
Lizard, you didn't get a clear look, but he had the same sort of, like, proportions and movement. So I'm like,
Yeah. And speaking of the
haven't
Lizard,
actually seen
I mean,
the
this
latest trailer yet, so I don't know.
Oh, well,
Gotcha.
spoilers.
I mean, I don't
There's a
care if
bully.
it's in a trailer. It's not really a spoiler, I think. So talk about it all I want.
But either way, so for me that adds a kind of, you know, extra layer of speculation as to, like, you know, how much these are actually the characters from the other universe. But going off of what you just said onto another point with the trailer. Speaking of the Lizard, there's been this really funny thing going around because, like, it's been a long run rumor, soft confirmed, people are denying it, that, you know, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to show up in this movie. Andrew Garfield has been really denying it, claiming that, like, leaked photos of him on set were photoshopped and video of him was photoshopped. The newest thing from this trailer that people are picking apart is in the big wide shot where Spider-Man is, like, flying at Lizard and Sandman and I can't remember, I guess Electro.
Oh, kind of like how they got Gwyneth Paltrow out of there. There's negative space for them to be in there.
There's a spot in the trailer where, like, the Lizard is, like, charging at him in the sky and then gets punched to the side by nothing.
like me and my sister were actually discussing that, and, like, the only, like, and, you know, the funny situation of, like, someone talking to Andrew Garfield, showing him a picture of him on set. So is that you on the Spider-Man set? No, that's not me. I've never been in a Spider-Man. I've never been in any Spider-Man movie. I've never acted in my life. I work in accounting. I don't know what you're talking about. And that's Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, so people are speculating that from the actual clip from the movie, this wide shot would also have the two other Spider-Men, or at least one of them. They painted out the other
Spider-Men.
And they edited it out, and someone just, I guess, fucking missed that, or didn't think it was like forgot how the internet worked and didn't think it was a big enough detail that people would notice that the lizard just gets like kicked in the face by
the guys at
literally
Corridor
nothing.
Digital, their VFX house, and they do the VFX artist reacts. They broke down the leaked video of Andrew Garfield on set and all the purported methods of people saying how it could have been faked, and basically landed on, I don't think you can fake this. This is this is
looks
real.
Too real.
This
is
the
only thing I could think of as that being like fake, quote unquote, is if it was like literally just like a shot from one of the fucking Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. Like it's not a fake clip.
Like someone orchestrated a prank with a giant blue screen and Andrew Garfield himself.
Or like someone called Andrew Garfield over like, hey, you want to play a prank on the rest of the internet? Sure, brah.
Or Andrew Garfield has a long-lost twin.
Hold on. If this is just literally a series of angry Andrew Garfield pranks, he is my favorite human. If he's just pranking people, and he's getting cease and desist letters from Marvel, like, you gotta stop the pranks.
So, that was the kind of interesting things to pick apart about the new trailer. Some of it is just like speculative from the trailer,
stuff, but Doc Ock, when he throws Peter against the wall, he looks at him and says, "You're not Peter," implying that he recognizes Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker. So I'm assuming that it is just these characters somehow ripped through timey-wimey stuff. But Amy Pascal also has said that after this Homecoming trilogy is over, that Tom Holland is getting ready for the next trilogy of Spider-Man movies, even though Tom Holland recently just said, if I'm playing Spider-Man when I'm 30, I've done something wrong. He's 25.
I guess he did something wrong.
Interesting. I mean, I'm wondering how Tom Hardy's Venom comes into play in all this,
I stand by my predictions that this is Sony, because they're still using language saying, like, we have the Marvel MCU, we're going to make more MCU movies, but we also have the Sony Marvel movies. Everyone loves them. The Sony Marvels. And, like, I feel
maybe
they're
they'll
just...
maybe at the end of No Way Home? Is that this one? Yeah, maybe at the end of No Way Home, either fucking Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield will pretty much just be stuck in the fucking Sonyverse, and just the rest of their movies will follow that.
We keep doing that. Oh, man. But
the Spider Boys.
The Spider Boys.
Just the two of them having a good time.
The Spider's Men.
There's an actual character in the Spider-Man comics who is Spider's Man, which is like thousands of spiders who think they're Peter Parker. And they just
that's very funny.
Very good. But either way, that was my news from that trailer. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and you guys might have to help me fill in some details here because I might not be quite as savvy with the topic as a whole as you are, but we had this interesting story where Twitch was partnered with a company called StreamLabs. Basically, this is where I might need to fill in what the fucking company actually does. They like make it easier for people to stream Xbox games specifically.
They have because I don't know all the details on this either, but StreamLabs specifically, they create OBS, Open Broadcasting Service. What is that? Let me double check this. OBS is a piece of software. Open Broadcasting Software. So it's an open source piece of software, and StreamLabs use OBS to make their own StreamLabs OBS called SLOBS, which is the acronym. I think that's very funny. But I guess the story is not so much that they used open source software. It was more about their naming and presentation and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they released this big promotional presentation, like, advertising this partnership with Twitch or whatever. And this other company, Lightstream, basically like took screenshots of the promotional material and is just like a straight up ripoff of previously used promotional material that they had used, like straight up down to using the same user reviews that the Lightstream team went and found.
Notice that deal. Holy shit.
Yeah, which is wild. Yeah, because it was like, so the first tweet just kind of showed the side by side, and then the same guy from Lightstream or someone from the Lightstream team, or I don't know, maybe just someone looking at it, I don't know, put out a separate tweet that was like, wait, holy shit, the user reviews are even a copy. I know, because I reached out to the people in the reviews for these comments when I worked at Lightstream. So that was someone who had previously worked at Lightstream. So it's like this huge plagiarism thing. And then, okay, there's OBS, the software, but OBS is also a company, question mark?
OBS Project is the name of the group.
Because after all this plagiarism stuff coming out, basically, like, OBS Project, like, came out and said that, like, StreamLabs had, like, previously asked to use the OBS name, and they told them, like, no, or they didn't want them to, and then they just did it anyway. So they were like, they're like trying to distance themselves from this basically by saying like, hey, listen, like StreamLabs has some stuff that like says OBS, but we're not actually connected to them.
Yeah.
They just, use that name without our good graces or whatever.
Yep.
And I don't remember the exact details to it, but yeah,
no,
it's basically
that's
this
pretty
whole
much
thing
it.
where, yeah, it's just like people pointing out like how plagiarized, and some other companies are like, pointing out previous ways in which, StreamLabs had kind of like plagiarized their advertising in the past. And StreamLabs, I think, put out a comment that was saying like, oh, we don't know how this happened or something like that.
Yeah.
Or it's just like total bullshit. It's like, oh, we used it as a template and then some stuff got dropped over and it's like, this is more than a template use, my guy.
It was the most hot dog man saying we're trying to find the guy who did this energy I've seen in a tweet in a very long time.
Well, up until we start talking about Bobby Cook.
That's, okay, we'll get there. There are more hot dogs to come, don't you worry.
So I haven't heard much about this since we heard about it a few weeks ago, but that was wild. That's a story, and that's pretty much. I mean, we did get a backer update from the Victory Saber project. It was pretty much just like photos of a lot of the parts laid out in like nulled out and assigned numbers and shit like that. So it was just a cool little behind the scenes photo. Nothing really to talk about there, but that did happen. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to talk about this month. Not a ton.
Cool. All right, Chowder, hit me with that adult sad energy.
Well, I was gonna go in the order of like what my tabs are on, so it's not gonna be till later that I talk about Bobby.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay, first thing I wanted to talk
hearing
about.
You guys talk about this, and I've been laughing along like I have any fucking idea what you're talking about, but I legitimately have not heard a single thing about this fucking story, so I have no idea what you're talking about with the Bobby Kotick
Oh, okay.
thing.
Well, it's a similar refrain.
All right, so first thing I wanted to talk about was the announcement of DNF Duel. It is gonna be the latest game from Arc System Works, known for Guilty Gear, Dragon Ball Fighters, and many other classic fighting games. And as with all Arc Systems game, it looks fucking amazing. It's like got this gorgeous art style that looks 2D, but it's all done it with 3D. It's a team-based fighter that looks really fast, exciting. This is I think the first game they announced since Strive came out. So
wait, what's the name of this game?
DNF Duel. And so the interesting thing about
I've heard of this.
DNF Duel is it is a fighting game spin-off of a series of a game called Dungeon Fighter Online, or as it's known in South Korea, Dungeon and Fighter. While looking stuff up to know more about the game, apparently Dungeon Fighter Online is a big fucking deal. According to Wikipedia, it is one of the highest grossing games ever, with like one of the biggest player counts. On a
exclusively in the China market.
And that's the thing. Like I'm looking at like player count, and it is 700 million, or Wikipedia says it is 700 million, and that is a fucking lot. And it's so weird that
what?
That's a couple boys right there.
Yeah, and that is so weird. Like it is above like big things like Grand Theft Auto 5 Online, Candy Crush, Minecraft, and
above Minecraft.
Minecraft's only is like
down.
200 million active monthly users. I think somewhere around
Yeah.
there, 180 to 200 million. It's big.
Yeah.
But 700.
yeah,
is
and keep in
insane.
mind, active users is kind of hard to measure. But like, even if you are like, I don't think it's higher than Minecraft, it's still a lot. It's still a big deal, and it's so weird to me that I've never even heard of Dungeon Fighter Online until Arc System announced DNF Duel.
That reminds me. I think the new update to Minecraft might come out today, actually.
Oh yeah, Caves and Cliffs too.
Yeah. Anyway, continue.
I typed caves into Google, and the first suggestion is Caves and Cliffs Part 2.
Yeah.
So.
And like
Good
Jeff
sign.
said that Eastern markets mean like something can become really popular, and us not really knowing about it. And it does have a release in North America, and it does have a release in North America, and it did do successfully there. But I think that was just an interesting story because something that's so big that not everyone
it's just totally off our radars.
Yeah, exactly. But also another Arc System game, and I fucking love Arc System. And it's they've been making like fighting games of like various kinds of series, like Dragon Ball Z, and then they moved on to Grand Blue Fantasy, and now they're moving on to this. And it's interesting to see like the Arc System style take on different kinds of things and seeing how that translates. So yeah, the next fighting game I wanted to talk about was Project L. It is a game being made by I can't tell if it's being made by Riot itself or like it's a fighting game based off League of Legends. It's a team-based fighting game based on League of Legends.
I was about to say, because Project M is the Smash Bros. Melee thing, so I was like, is this a new what? But
No.
it makes that's
I
a
was thinking
cheeky
it was
name.
a new Smash Bros.
No. This is a fighting game
That's
based.
cheeky.
It's a team-based fighting game based off League of Legends, again, really cool. Looks like some really cool, like very fast combat. Marvel vs. Capcom hasn't had a game since Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I've never heard of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. That doesn't exist. I don't know what you're talking
Ultimate.
about.
Marvel versus Capcom Ultimate?
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It's like, but like that's just like a newer version of Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
I see. Oh, are you being facetious because you did not like the latest Marvel vs. Capcom?
Yeah, I didn't like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. That's my point.
Okay.
I
Sorry to
see.
totally like bust up your joke. I'm just that clueless.
Yeah. I thought you were saying it was like a conspiracy theory, and I'm like, really? That's weird. That's a weird thing to make
You can't
up.
convince me the Earth is not made of this video game, even if you show me 1 million copies.
That's like when I was trying to look up Minecraft information, and the top result on Google, the one that like actually pops up as the answer, is from a fucking like fan-made website that is just speculating about future releases. So it was like, oh yeah, that comes out in the year 2023, and it's got this theme to it. And I'm like, they don't announce that far in advance. What the fuck are you talking about, Google?
So Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Chowder is saying we're all suffering from the Mandela effect with this particular excellent video game that everybody loves.
I guess for clarity's sake, the last Marvel vs. Capcom game was actually Infinite, but that didn't do so well, so it didn't really pick up. And so like the fighting game community has always been thinking, oh man, what will pick up the mantle of the next Marvel vs. Capcom? Because like we all like fast-paced, team-based fighting games. And we had Dragon Ball Fighters or Dragon Ball Fighters Z. I don't actually know how you say that.
Fighters,
which was a team
It's the one where they're all bees.
a fast-paced team fighting game based on Dragon Ball Z. We have done DNF Duel, and now we have Project L, this League of Legends fighting game. And it's like, oh well, there's a lot Like, it's clear that there's a lot of people who are like, oh man, I'm aching for some Marvel vs. Capcom, but they ain't giving us Marvel vs. Capcom, so fine, I'll do it myself.
So my point of reference for fighting games is your Tekkens, your Street Fighters, and then your Smash Bros. How is this genre different from those? I'm actually just not sure what sets Marvel vs. Capcom apart from Smash Bros.
Okay. So Marvel vs. Capcom, like it plays on a 2D plane like Street Fighter. But the thing that sets it apart is, one, the game is like super fast. Like a million things are going on screen. And you have a lot of like freedom of like movement in the sense that like your characters can dash around the screen and stuff. And the biggest thing is that when you select a character, you don't just select one character to fight one character. You select like you select up to 3 characters who you can switch around during the fight. Switch around on the fly during the fight, or like call down like
I've seen that. Okay.
Call down assist attacks to like help you out, and that leads to
and Project L is looking to leverage the massive base of champions for League of Legends into this style of game.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing goes for DNF Duel, and it's also what Dragon Ball FighterZ did. So that's why I'm bringing up Marvel vs. Capcom so much, because like they're clearly like taking from MVC, and people have been aching for a new one, so these are here to scratch that itch. The third fighting game I wanted to talk about is...
Oh my god.
Yeah, no. Fighting game fans have been eating good. Is Multiversus, which is I've
heard of this
platform fighting game being made by Warner Brothers, which has it's like Smash Brothers, but like with Warner Brothers.
It's like the Nickelodeon fucking game that just came out too.
Nickelodeon All-Star, exactly. Yeah. It's gonna be it's gonna be a free to play game, and so like it'll be interesting to see how they handle monetization. Probably not great, because monetization is just fuckery and free to play, but like, what makes Multiversus so interesting is like you get to see Batman fighting Superman, fighting Finn the human from Adventure Time, Steven Universe.
The Polygon headline says Multiversus is Smash Bros meets Batman, Bugs Bunny, and Game of Thrones.
Wow. Arya Stark is in the game. Tom and Jerry.
Oh my god.
Bugs. Yeah, no, it is a very silly cast. But interestingly, the art style is actually really good, because they all look like they fit in together, and that is
I'm looking at these screenshots.
No, that is very impressive. It looks very interesting, and now that like Smash Ultimate has released its final DLC, it'll be interesting, and like we've seen like
everybody's coming out of the woodwork now.
Everyone's coming out of the woodwork. Like Nickelodeon has like Nickelodeon All-Star, and like,
which has gotten some pretty.
Oh my god! You can fight as fucking Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Oh yeah, yes, you can fight as Shaggy. That's the big one. Why did I forget that? But yeah.
But the Nickelodeon All-Star one has actually been getting a lot of positive attention. Yeah. I don't think it's like grabbed a huge player base, but pros have caught it as like, this is a pretty solid fighting game.
Yeah. Nickelodeon, like the devs are like, big like Smash Melee fans, and so it borrows some stuff
it
from.
It has that look to it.
Yeah, it borrows some
fight
stuff.
As Jake the dog. That'd be sick.
Like with
what
Nickelodeon.
Is this game on?
It's free to play. It's on all platforms.
Oh fuck yeah.
Anyway, so in Nickelodeon, like the devs are like big Melee guys, and it has its own unique identity separate from like just being a Smash clone. Like it's got like mechanics that are unique to Nickelodeon, and that's interesting. And I feel there's more than enough room for more than one platform fighter. Like you can have Smash Bros, and you can also have Rivals of Aether and Brawlhalla, and also Nickelodeon All-Star, and hopefully maybe Multiversus will be interesting. So
this coming off the heels of Space Jam New Legacy, it seems like they're really trying to lean hard into Marvel is putting all their properties into one thing. What if we do that with things that are unrelated? And they're really pushing it.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, like,
Wait, can Paul Atreides from Dune show up? Because I really just want an angsty Timothy Chalamet in this game.
that would be interesting. I mean, since it's free to play, they're probably going to be like updating it with new characters and stuff.
I just push a button to use the voice and all the characters do what I say.
Maybe. All right. Next thing I want to talk about, not a fighting game this time. This is interesting because it's just so weird. Like, it's a new Dragon Ball game where it's like, where with the gameplay style of like games like Dead by Daylight, where like you're all playing a bunch of survivors.
Yeah.
Where you're all playing a bunch of survivors trying to like fulfill a goal while you're being hunted down by this one super powerful dude. And in this,
is it an asymmetric multiplayer
yeah,
like that?
yeah,
or
it's
is
an
it...
asymmetric multiplayer, and
Okay.
and the dude you're trying to run from is fucking Cell, one of like the second or like one of the biggest main villains in the original in Dragon Ball Z, and it's like that's weird, interesting, but weird, and I am intrigued. Because like, you know, most Dragon Ball games try to make you fulfill the fantasy of like being a Dragon Ball Z character, flying around, shooting ki blasts, doing superpowered martial arts, but here you're just playing as like people, survivors, as you're being hunted down by the super powerful kung fu
wild.
motherfucker. So yeah.
Bizarre.
Yeah. And now we get to Bobby Kotick.
Yeah, all right. Tell me about fucking Bobby Kotick.
Okay.
You're gonna be disappointed when you hear what it is.
So, like, you know how, like, Activision
Yep.
Blizzard has been being investigated for many sexual harassment scandals and sexual assault scandals and that? Well,
I'm well aware of that.
Well, it turns out CEO Bobby Kotick not only knew about these, but actively participated in it.
I remember this. I just forgot who Bobby Kotick was.
Yeah, actively
Yep.
participated in it, and B, actively hid it. You know, you have
that's
stories of
unsurprising.
him like leaving voice messages on like female employees' phones of saying he's gonna kill them or have them killed. Because they didn't accept his advances. You've got like stories of like him harassing a stewardess on a private jet that he co-owns. You've got a story of like employee reporting sexual assault / harassment on one of her bosses, and like he literally steps in to like keep him from getting fired. This is some big bullshit, and
But is anything going to be done about it? Is the question
Some stuff has already happened.
So like with all these coming out and like Activision Blizzard having sinking stocks, you'd think the shareholders would be like, get rid of this guy. Nah, they're like, no, we stand by Bobby Kotick.
Jesus Christ.
And it's just
turns out they were all in on it too. Who would have thunk it?
And it's like, you know, like the myth that like a lot of business people like to say is, corporations and businesses, we always do what's like optimal for like making money. You can't blame us for doing what we do best. And here they are doing what's not optimal because
it's not optimal. It's not making them money. It's causing other fucking studios. Basically, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony have all released internal memos about this, condemning it, saying that it's bad and that they need to reevaluate their business practices. I think with a hint of irony, right after the Sony guy put out his letter, some class action suit hit Sony. So like that's hilarious.
And you know how hard it is to get Nintendo up their
absurd.
asses to get Nintendo to acknowledge they're not in fucking Disneyland.
Yeah. But
So you really have to
like,
fuck up to do that.
So the stuff that has happened so far, I think as soon as this information came out, like almost next day, there was another like massive 500 employee walkout or something like that. Like employees are really trying to make a fucking stink at that company to change shit.
Man.
Which
You gotta go.
I mean, power to them. I wish that was enough. But also, I guess the board initially said that Bobby Kotick is staying, no questions, and they have softened that position to we're going to partner with like unbiased third-party people and form a commission of, I think, primarily women at the company to oversee and review this stuff. that
But, like,
always
if he-
goes
if he
exactly the way you
legitimately,
expect
like-
it to.
If he legitimately like threatened people's lives, right? Like,
Yeah, you'd
He
think.
claims
just
he
get
was
arrested?
just
Like-
joking. Quote
so-
unquote. I
Are
don't know
either
if you
of
can
guys
see my
watching
air
Succession?
quotes.
Do either of you guys watch the show Succession?
No, but I
No.
but
it
I
gives
know
you a
of
fantastic fictionalization of how these decisions are made regarding shareholders, but there's also this one character who sucks shit, who is always like threatening people and then just saying, I'm just joking. And it's like the most like heinous, it's an excellent performance because every time he does that, I'm like, I hate this guy. I want this guy to die. And like seeing it dramatized and humorized in that way, and then reading people saying this in real press releases, I'm like, oh honey.
Oh, that's
Oh, no.
that's not a parody.
No.
That's
Yeah.
just
Doesn't
the most
matter how you-
accurate representation.
Yeah. It's just it is like for people who think that they can buy that, like watch this fucking dramedy on HBO that shows you exactly what it looks like. We all know what it looks like. We've all met people who
Yeah.
quote joke like this, and it's disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it makes me think of, like,
Can we get the characters from Succession in Multiversus? Can we have fucking old ass 80-year-old Brian Cox running around punching Harley Quinn? That's maybe not the best example given the context of this discussion. He's punching Bugs Bunny. Let's take a pickup on that. I was looking at the picture and I saw Harley Quinn's hammer. I apologize. But yeah, put Brian Cox in Multiversus. That's my takeaway.
Oh, better yet, you can just get get Brian Cox in Multiverses and then fucking
Yeah,
bring
I mean,
Garnet
like,
and Harley
if it-
Quinn to go beat the shit out of him.
it makes me think of, like, the show Archer in relation to the James Bond books. The character of Archer, when you know about, like, how James Bond is in the books, Archer is in a parody of James Bond. He's the most accurate version of the character to the books.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And we're supposed to think James Bond is cool, but anyways. I got one more thing to talk about, and it's kind of small compared to what I just talked about. And that's there's a game called Lies of P, which is like a Soulsborne kind of game, but like you play as Pinocchio.
Oh,
Yeah, like it's
okay.
it's like got this, gothic style. It's like
So
Bloodborne.
not like the Disney Pinocchio, but like the classic fairy tale Pinocchio.
Yeah.
They've got their
Yeah,
own
I guess,
interpretation.
yeah, like the classic fairy tale Pinocchio. It's got like the Bloodborne style of gameplay, and and it's like you're playing as Pinocchio, and you can hear like a gravelly voiced Geppetto going, "Wake up, son," and Pinocchio is like sharpening a blade with his wooden forearm and cutting through the undead, and it's like
Jesus Christ.
so weird,
Sounds
and
about
I
right.
just had to bring it up because I'm intrigued.
That's on my radar now for sure.
Lies of P.
For time, then I am going to be pushing us.
Wait.
Wait.
Calm.
Yes. What?
Before we move on to the ratings, since I
Uh-huh.
forgot about this, you guys want to get? I've got a fucking new world loaded up. Let's get a quick react to fucking to Caves and Cliffs Part 2. Real quick.
How
Minute.
quick? Like 1 minute? Okay. I'm already
Yeah.
like burning through my lunch break here.
Okay, sure.
Should have started loading this first, huh?
We'll get it after the rating section. Start loading
Yeah.
it. We'll get your impressions in a bit. So we're gonna move into the rating section. So this is a bit where at the end we try to look over our stories and we try to decide, as people with journalistic integrity, what is the story that we think is the most important, impactful, whatever. Try to decide what we think you should walk away with. If you walk away with nothing else from this episode, what are you going to take in your pocket and carry with you? So we're each going to nominate a story and then try to decide with consensus what that top story should be. Now, the Activision stuff has been ongoing, and we've been calling it ongoing.
Yeah.
It's been our top story before. I would like to keep it ongoing
Twice, at least.
as we see these things develop. But my top story, I know I brought it, but dropping a AAA game 3 weeks early as a fucking surprise and like only having leaks like 2-3 days before Halo Infinite's surprise drop and subsequent controversies is just, I can't say it's like fully unprecedented, but it is extremely uncommon to see something this big move this fast. It's crazy, top to bottom. I don't think we're gonna see anything like it for a very long time. Like, the closest we got was them saying, like, in 2015, like, hey, we're announcing Fallout 4. It'll be out later this year. And that was, like, still a 5-month gap. This doesn't happen with games like this, especially big ones.
No, like big projects move like freight trains, man.
Yep.
Yeah, it's wild.
You can't turn on a dime, and they did, and it's crazy, and it's good.
I still, like, I know it's been our story a number of times, but I feel like this is actually a pretty significant development in the whole Activision story in terms of, like, obviously you could probably connect the dots beforehand, but having all this specific stuff specifically about the CIO, I feel like as a CEO rather, is like
CIO.
Yeah, I was about to make that.
Nicely done.
I feel like that's significant enough. I don't know, like it's a pretty big development in terms of like, oh yeah,
No,
actually, the person in charge isn't just enabling this shit, but is also actively contributing to it. Like that, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at.
That makes sense.
That's
So,
just
Chatter, swing vote or Chaos Agent? What are you feeling?
Well, the Chaos Agent in me wants to vote for Liza P. Because
it's pretty fucking weird.
the fighting game fan in me wants to vote for DNF or Project L. But you know what? I will vote for Halo Infinite because, like, that's a pretty big thing right now, and the story of it coming out so early is kind of interesting and impressive. And
It was allegedly leaked by Pringles, but people at 343 Industries have said that it was not Pringles, that was unrelated.
yeah, and how their
I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, and how their choices affect the longevity of Halo is going to be interesting. So my vote goes to Halo.
I doubt it will be the top story again pretty much ever, unless they somehow release another surprise Halo. We'll see. But yeah, Halo Infinite, top story. We are going to keep our finger on the pulse of the developing controversies regarding Activision. I should scoop up some of that information about the Sony stuff, because I just remember laughing my ass off at, like, they just tried to go out of their way to distance themselves from Activision Blizzard, and now this is happening. Otherwise, this month, a lot of little things. Hawkeye came out. I'm calling the shot. I think Vincent D'Onofrio is going to play Kingpin in this. Pretty sure that's going to happen.
I've seen the rumors of that as well.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I mean,
Otherwise,
Kingpin doesn't come up in any big way in, like, the comic they show off.
No, but it is very New York City based, more so than any other MCU property has been. Watch the episode.
I haven't seen the episode
Pretty
yet,
unmistakable.
So.
Yeah, I think it's pretty unmistakable. Caves and Cliffs. Have you got it loaded up? Are you wowed? Are your pants
I do
still
have it.
on?
All right, here I'll look around.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks much cliffier than usual. You got a big mountain brush there. That could have been creative. Oh,
Much clippier. Okay, interesting.
yeah.
Fuck.
I fucking spawned right next to a giant fucking mountain of ice.
Oh God!
Wow.
I'm gonna have to take
Like
a look
in
at
the
that.
middle of the land.
Yeah, I would be
Yeah,
more
right
impressed.
off the bat, I would say the landscape looks a lot more like what's the word? Like depthy. It's hot.
Yeah.
It's taller. We're getting
Yeah.
back to the length with depth fucking conversation.
But how
But
deep
it doesn't
is the
look
mountain?
like so bad that it would be just impossible to navigate. It definitely looks like would be more annoying to climb up and down mountains, but there's
Yeah.
still a lot of flat ground.
We'll see.
Anyway,
I would
that's
keep up with Minecraft updates more if it wasn't like I have to restart a world every time they change the code. I understand why that's the way it
Yeah.
is. It's just I can't do it all again. I can't.
Yeah.
But
I
we will
can't
be doing
do
this all again
I can't
in a
do
couple
this.
of.
I'm not strong enough.
I'm not strong enough. We'll be doing this again in a couple of weeks. Like I said, beginning every month, we try to do a recap like this to keep you up to speed on the happenings. But in 2 weeks, we will be back with our regular book club format, where we're going to be talking about. I don't know yet. Have we decided?
I don't think
sure.
we haven't decided.
I thought we were thinking on Dune.
Dune 2021 seems like the front runner for an episode, and boy howdy, can I talk about that movie. I had a great time with it. But I guess we'll see you then, and for now, I have been Colin Ketchen. ComicGeekingProgram.com. I do a few podcasts here, and they're pretty fun. Anything you guys want to say before we go?
Hi, I've been Jeff Levitt. I have a YouTube game review channel. Game review? Toy review. I'm playing a game right now, so that's the words that came out of my mouth. That's just, that sounds probably more interesting to most of the people who listen to this than the thing I actually do, which is a toy review channel called Alchemist Prime Reviews. I'm fucking looking at caves right now in Minecraft.
Woo! Yes.
And I'm
Not on my channel.
I'm Timel
Right now.
or Chowder, whichever you prefer. You can find me on Twitter at Timel Chowder. And, I'm also on our sister podcast, Dice Populi, which is doing some crazy shit in Dicey
On the
waters.
front end and the back end, let me tell you,
Yeah.
this last edit threw us for a fucking loop. So that was fun. But I think it turned out pretty fucking fantastic. Big fan of what's going on there. But we'll be back, like I said, in a couple weeks. For now, stay geeky, my friends. That's based on an alcohol slogan, and I don't drink, so where do I get off? I get off here, because this is where the episode is ending. Goodbye.
Ciao.
Bye.
This episode of the Common Briefing program is hosted by me, Colin Ketchum, joined by Jeff Levitt and Tanya Chowdhury. This episode is sponsored by yelling too loudly while frustrated at Halo, so when you wake up, you feel like you have a sore throat. The podcast is created and produced by myself and Jeff Levitt, with this episode edited by me, featuring original music also by me. We will be back in 2 weeks with an episode indeed discussing Dune 2021. So please tune in for that and check out our other podcasts if you're looking for something else to turn on while you drive, walk, chore, or whatever it is you're doing. So, well, we'll see you then, and thank you for listening to this. CommonGeekingProgram.com. Oh boy. I'm gonna jump right in. I'm just probably gonna put that as the intro bit. Unless we have some other vibe check stuff we really wanna get off our chest.
Yeah, you figure it out however you need to figure it out.
Yeah, I will.
We just provide the content, Colin. You're the one who has to organize.
That's yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, if we're
We're
griping
nothing
about
but
stuff,
content
also,
machines over here.